Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to Facebook Live. Once again, hope you are well, and I hope you can see me. That's always going to be a bonus. We are back. Hope you've been making the most of the sunshine today as best you can. I know it's a bit of a kick in the teeth when the weather's nice and we're all stuck indoors, wouldn't you believe it? But hey, could be worse. So let's hope everyone is well. And what are we going to do today? We are going to look at the thinking behind the features and the functions on the Txi-D. That, you know, what we think or why we chose to have them the way we do, what benefit they are to the angler. Let's get that right. You know, everything that we put on the alarm has a function and a reason. Well, we believe it does anyway. So that's what I'm going to go through today. Last night we went through the differences, and today we're going to show, you know, why we've added these features, why some are, you know, similar to what we had previously because they were good features, but just the thinking behind what we do and why. And hopefully then that gives you some idea of what we've done it for. Other people do things other ways, and that's great. You know, we do it our way because we think it's, you know, the best for the angler or best for the alarm. You know, if somebody has a different approach, then so be it. You know, that's how life is. You know, everybody has a different way. Before we start, shall we do some highs, because this is kind of getting like it is now. So Dave Simpson, hello. D Marsh, regulars, hello. Michael Jansen, hello. Gary Evans, hello. Dwayne Sweet, hello. Piet Rifkin, Vink, hello. These people from Holland we've had people from Italy, we've had people from Belgium, France, all sorts. So yeah, myself from Netherlands, hello. Tim, one of the regulars, hello. I know you guys, you know, are starting to join me on a regular basis. I don't know why. I'm just winging it as I go, trying to fill half an hour or a bit more of your time, and I do appreciate it, and I hope you're feeling that it is of some benefit, and we're giving a useful insight into all sorts of stuff, and that's the whole point. And again, keep those things coming in. I'll keep content coming, and we see how we get on. I've gone a little bit more at market tonight. I brought a light in so that we can see the products a bit more. I noticed that things were a little bit dark, so hopefully you'll get an idea of what's going on. Okay, so without further ado, let's crack on with what we've got and why. Okay, so I will switch to the other camera. I hope that works. Hopefully, somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see the other camera. So we're now looking at two alarms again, and I will give you this quick demonstration first of, as I've set this up, is beep speed. Okay, the big function on these is beep speed. So somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see the alarms, because my new system's not working quite as it should do. Oh yeah, there we go. No, I can see. Right, good. So yeah, so the big move forward on this was beep speed control, and I will give you as good a demonstration as I can possibly give. I don't think I've even done this at exhibition, so I set this up today, and it really gives you the you know, shows you the difference. Whether you feel it's better or not is down to you, but this is what we is. So we have our TXI here. Okay, I shall turn it on and the switch, which is always a pain anyway. Okay, that is now on plus, and I've got it on maximum sensitivity. And great, Delkims are extremely sensitive. As you can see, my hand coming in there, I've only got to tap the line, and that is sent off, which is great. But look what happens as soon as I I move the bobbin a little bit. Straight away, that has gone into the warble. So you've jumped out your bivvy, you've jumped out your bivvy, you've gone, blimey, I'm in, and it's moved about ½ inch, and therefore you've picked up a knock or a liner, perhaps fish moving in the swim, which is great because you still need to interpret what's going on, but you couldn't tell whether it was a line, you couldn't tell whether it was a run. You know, if a run went, it would be doing the same thing as it just did. So you can see there that it is extremely sensitive, and I'd probably need to be turning that down so that it doesn't go mental straight away, because it's you know, unless I was on a flat calm day, or you know, if I really wanted everything to go wild, then that wouldn't be great. So now what I'll do is I'll now switch across. I'll turn this off and I'll switch across to the TXI. Similar weight bobbin, no different there, so that's not going to make the difference. It's a bit twisted, so hopefully you'll see. Okay, I will whack that up to full sensitivity, and I've got this on beat speed 4. Can you see that? Let's just move the camera back a little bit so you get more view of what's going on there. Okay, you can just about see the hanger. So if I do that, the tone's different, and I'll turn the volume up so you can hear. Okay, it's going into that warble again pretty straight away, very similar. So beep speed 4 is how the alarm is set out the box, which is virtually the same as a TXI. So that's so that any user who's had Delkim pluses or any Delkim alarm in the past can just turn it on, set the response now, because that's what we're saying is the response to the line movement. Again, you can see as soon as I tap that line, it's responding to me tapping the line. So we have now response, and it's all on one control. So there's no switch, and we turn it on there. So I will go through those other things, but I just want to do the beat speed because I had that set up first and I thought it was very interesting. So what I'll do now is I'll change the beat speed. You change the beat speed by holding down the left hand push button 1, and I'll go to the extreme and I'll put it to level 1. So this is in beep speed 1. I haven't changed the response, okay, that's still a sensitive. But now when I pull the line, so I get that little knock on the line, you can see straight away that it's not going crazy. It's not going crazy. I haven't touched anything. Everything is still cranked up to the max in terms of the response, but it hasn't gone wild. So now I've got some speed relationship. It's not quite going into the warble as I would like. So if I turn that up, beat speed level 2, 1, 2. There you go. You can hear that that's now hitting the warble as I'm starting to get something that would be needing me to strike. That's the point. And you can see. So now when I get a little knock, it's not going into meltdown. It's just beeping a few times. So straight away you can see the difference between a knock, a little liner, and a run, and that is why we have beep speed in a nutshell. Okay, I did that first. There's lots of other little things. I want to go through every little tiny thing first, but I had that set up, and I hadn't even done that at an exhibition. Had a TXI next to a Delkim, which I probably will now, to show it so clearly the difference at those higher levels. So the idea is that now you can use higher levels of response without it going into that meltdown, and so you know more about what's going on at the business end. That's the whole point. Let's do that. So that's beep speed. That's the reason behind beep speed, and it goes the other way as well. So if I want to turn down the response level, and I haven't got room now to show because I'll be pulling it off a bait run, I'm sorry, but again you can see I can increase the beep speed and turn down the response, and I'll get more beeps when it's pulling off the bait run, and rather than 1 or 2 single bleeps that if you use the low levels of sensitivity on the TXI plus, if you do that on the response level on the TXI-D, you can increase the beep speed so you get more beeps when you get a run. So you're not changing the sensitivity or the response when you're changing the beep speed. You're changing how many beeps you get when you get a knock of the line, effectively, or a pull on the line for a set movement of line, basically. So that's beep speed, and I hope that gives you even more of an idea of why that is quite a big step forward on the alarm. If you know, it's for you to see, but that does explain that. Right, let me turn this, take that off there now, and I'll turn bear with me, I'll turn this round and see what I can see, whether you can focus on that, and I'll bring my camera in here and we can go a little bit closer. That's the wrong alarm, that's the right alarm. Okay, so okay, we can do both. Yeah, sorry about this. Man moves camera. There we go. There we go. So, man moves camera, and there we go. So, right, we're looking square on now at the old and the new. And let me just adjust that angle. I've got my little logo in the way of that. So, let's start. Why do we have twin LEDs? Okay, I know some of this is going to be like sucking eggs, guys, but I'll go through it and it will get there. So why have we got twin LEDs? Twin LEDs in the ears. We did that with the plus range so that you can just see them easier. They sit above the rod. They're always in the way. The rod gets in the way, or where you're sitting with the angle, and you can see it above both sides. So you've got that best of both worlds. So that's the reason we've done that. Why have we got rid of and we can do a comparison. Why have we got rid of the volume control? Well, that's one less thing to worry about and one less thing to go wrong. So there's, you know, that we say, you know, it's technically a moving part, but it's a rotary control. It can go wrong. Push button is far more reliable, and therefore you don't have to worry about that. Okay, push button, much easier than a switch underneath. So we've done away with the switch again. Switch, something that can get knocked, broken, damaged. So we've done away with that. Why have we got rid of the logo on the front, the little sticker on the front? And people ask that a lot. They seem to like to have the big sticker. That Delkim logo is never going to fall off. Simple. It doesn't need a sticker. There's no, you know, some of these are, but it will look the same forever. Even if it's not, you know, if it was printed on in white, that white would scrape off. So your alarm in time would start to look tatty. So that Delkim logo there, and you can see the logo there, is there for eternity, basically. It's never going to rub off. So it's always going to be there. So that's why we've done that, to make that simple. Other little things on the outside, and I'll quickly come back to me. Hello, there we go. Why have we got a little bung in there? Okay, to protect the socket. And then if for people that don't use our visual indication systems, you know, everybody uses their own hangers. That's fair enough. You know, there's so many out there. So that protects that socket, gives you more reliability. Nothing's going to go in there, get dirt or damaged or anything like that when it's not being used. There we go. So why do we do that? That's because of that. What else have we got? Okay, why have we got the little ridges on here? That's to can you see that? Let's put that. We did this yesterday a little bit, but you know, going through stuff again. There we go. You can see them there. So why have we got those little ridges in there? Okay, somewhere nice to rest your rod. The rubber inserts, they perish. They get affected by the sun. They need replacing. Those little will never cause any damage. They're not going to damage the rod. It's there forever. So it's a nice simple solution on there. Why do we have the little bar coming out the front? Well, that again, what a simple solution that is. You know, whether you want to use our hangers or not, you don't have to have a big fat base underneath. It just makes life a lot easier. Just a little metal wire. It's not in the way. It doesn't cause a problem, and it's easy. It's easy to use. Okay. Let's give that a little knock. Oh, I've got that in stealth mode. Okay, let's go through that while I'm here. Why not? Why not? I'm going to turn this off, and then we're going to look at tone. Go into setup mode, and we can change the tone. Why have we got 64 tones? Well, to allow you to set it exactly how you want, to get the loudness you want, to be able to set it individually, to give you as much control as you want over the product. Okay, each speaker, as you hear through the tones, they have what's called a resonant frequency. Where's the real loud one? There you go, that's the loud one. So it has a real loud, what we call resonant frequency at the top end. There's somewhere in the middle, and there's another one lower down where they're at their loudest. And again, you can then set whatever you want to do. So you've got 64 tones, a much greater range than on this tone control. It's a bit difficult to get it to get where you want. You know, you've got to go up, down a little bit, but you've got exactly spot on tones, 64 of them, to be able to set them how you want. What I was going to do was talk about the LED. So here we go, because I had it in stealth mode from yesterday. Okay, let's put the LEDs back on. Okay, one of the questions we do get asked quite a lot is, why don't we have RGB LEDs? Why can't I change my LEDs? In our opinion, well, one, we use 3mm LEDs. There isn't a 3mm RGB out there that we can use. If we could use RGBs, our manufacturing life would be made a lot simpler. But there is another more fundamental reason than that. Okay, the clarity of colour from the LEDs is far better than any RGB that we've ever seen. The colour, you know, RGB, you're colour mixing, but the pure colour, and it's the same on the hanger. And I lift that up. Ooh, let's get my angle. If I can get the camera on that a little bit more. Which way am I going? That's it. There it is. So the pure colour of that is better than any RGB, and the colour mixing. And again, when we have our night marking, okay, we have a unique feature patented, which is called night marking. And if I change the, oh, that's, and that will drop out in a minute. I don't know if you can see that now because I've got the big light. Got the big light on. You might be able to see that glowing in there. No, I'll tell you what, let me turn the big light off, and then you'll be able to see what we're talking about. When that goes out. So we have our night marking feature, where the LEDs will glow on ever so gently, where you can sit there and then put your rod. And there, if I cover that over, there you go, you can see that's glowing up. That is not possible with an RGB LED, because the colour starts to split. As you turn down the brightness, the colour, they go back to their, you know, the RGB, the red, green and blue. There we go, worked it out in the end. So that's what starts to happen. When you get to lower levels, you start to lose that definition of colour. So again, you can't have it. And we have 8 levels of brightness as well that we can set. Okay, you saw I went through the colours there. So 8 levels for the conditions that you're fishing. I can set on this a daytime brightness and a nighttime brightness. You might want it set to level, oh, that's day. If I hold it down, you might want it set really dim at night. You've got 8 levels. You can choose. You know, you only had 3 options on the old one, so you've got 8 levels there to be able to choose whatever you want for your conditions. Again, with the daytime, and we talk about LEDs a lot. I know it's not, you know, the killer feature, but you know, it's worth mentioning. With the clear LEDs, as soon as you see any colour, they must be on. So in bright sunlight, it's flaring up now because we're in a garage somewhere in Northamptonshire. But you know, in the bright sunlight, and if I turn my big lights on again, bear with me. Okay, if you turn, then you know when the sun's shining on it, as it would be today, you can, they do glow up. You can just see them, and then if it's got any colour, it must be on. So that's why we always have stuck with the super bright, clear LEDs, and that's always been our, and we, until technology catches. So if technology makes a super amazing 3mm LED that we can incorporate in our products, we would be stupid not to have it, because it just means we make one product. There we go. Just means we make one product. So if we could best make one alarm and you can just choose your colour, we would. But it's not as good. Until it's as good, we're not going to make a step backwards just so people can play disco lights. That doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, there's others that have it. So if you think that's the most important part of fishing, being able to change your LED colours, so be it. Let's go back to, what else do we have there? Well, I was talking about LED still. So let's go back. I can do to, and we did talk about this yesterday, but I'll do it again. Okay, stealth mode, and you can turn the LED on, so it comes on, or you can turn it so it goes off. Okay, so what's stealth mode? Stealth mode means, and if I just cut my hand over there, you can see that it's only for a nighttime setting. There we go. I'll brighten the main LED up. Okay, you can't see that. We're going to lift that up now, and if I give that a tap, so you can see now that that bobbin is on full brightness. I'm in the sunshine. It would be a bit different if it was night, but the LEDs on here are only still doing night marking. Somebody said, what's the point of that? And I answered him yesterday. What's the first thing you do when you get out? If you have a knock or you have a slight, a couple of beeps, you look out. What do? You don't look at the LED on your alarm, you look at your bobbin. Come back to me again. So you look at your bobbin, see if it's moved. So what's, and if it's night time and then the LEDs are quite bright, and they're still going to be bright even at the lowest level, if you've just got out your bivvy or something, then you look straight at your bobbin, oh, it's moved. And you don't have to wait, you can see instantly. So that is the point of stealth mode. It's a nighttime setting, so you can't have it, it's always with the night marking on, stealth. You can't have it completely off. It's for a nighttime setting, and that's what the thinking behind stealth is that you'll generally look at your bobbins, especially with our visual indicators. That's the whole point. If you're using in conjunction with other people's, it might be a bit different because you've not got any light then. But with our visual indication systems, you're going to look straight at the bobbin, see if it's gone up or down, and therefore you're not going to get the glare from two LEDs from above. That's the thinking behind that one. What else have we got? Well, I've just shown you day night. Oh, let's go back to the being too fancy. Okay, so day night. I think that's quite simple. So if I've got that on stealth, that's in night mode. I go back to day mode. People want a different setting for day and for night. You don't want it on full brightness at night, and you don't have to keep changing it all. So all it is a quick press of a button. It flicks from one to the other, and then you've got the benefit, and that has the hanger on there. There it is. It's gone beat. So you set what you want. So you can set your brightness for nighttime. It remembers it. Set your brightness for daytime, and you switch between the two, should you wish. Or you can just leave it however you want. If you wanted to leave it in daytime and have it on a low brightness so that it was okay at night, so be it. So that's where we are on that one. Let's have a little breather for 5 minutes as I'm going through. I'm trying to gather my thoughts of where we're going next. Just say a few hellos, see who else is on here. We have somebody from Czech Republic. Hello, welcome. Lots of people from all over the place. Let's have a refresh of what we've got. If you're just joining us or you've been with us, thank you very much. We're going through the whys and wherefores of what we did it and why on the Txi-D. So there's only a few more features to go, so there shouldn't be much more if you getting a bit bored with me whining on. Hopefully not. But again, here's a question. Someone just said about batteries. It's not the right one. Let me see if I've got the right one. There's the right one. Beg your pardon. Right. Why do we use these? Lots of other alarms use lots of different other batteries. Why do we use these? Okay, 9 volt. We always recommend the Duracell. Why do we use these? Because they are the best battery for the job. They are they are good for high impact. Okay, by that I mean everything's sitting there doing nothing most of the time, unless you're a really good angler. But you know what I'm saying. They're sitting there, it's silent, nothing's going on. Suddenly, wham! Get a run. Lights come on, speakers going, transmitters going, everything's going like that, and the battery has to go wallop, and it takes suddenly a load of voltage that it wasn't doing previously. The good thing about Duracells is they're good for a heavy whack. So they get a whack and then they recover again, and then they get a whack and they recover. Cheaper batteries or other brands that we've found don't have that same effect and don't work as well. Battery technology is changing, and I know, but that's why we don't necessarily recommend rechargeable batteries, because they can be over voltage sometimes, which can cause some problems. Again, they'll drop quite quickly. There's nothing worse than a battery that suddenly goes in the middle of the night. That's what happens with lesser batteries, is they'll suddenly just go. So they'll work, and then they'll just die like a stone, and you don't know where to do. The good thing about Duracells is they don't tend to do that. So they'll go and then they come back up, and they go and they come back up, and they go and they come back up, and they give you plenty of warning. And the way that we've got the battery warning set gives you plenty of warning. Once it starts giving you a low battery, you've got time for using your Duracell to do something about it, and then you get the battery fail on that as well. So yes, you get a low battery warning, and that's the reason for that. So low battery warning comes, that's when your battery drops below 5 volts for any period of time. If it goes back up again, then no problem. And then when it drops again to below 5 volts, you'll get another low battery warning. If your battery starts to stay below 5 volts or drops below that, you'll get the battery fail. It's a continuous one on a receiver. It's there's 3 blind mice on the TXI, on the TXI-D, and it's a drooping sound. Pew, pew. There we go. Doing impressions of battery fails. But that's on a TXI Plus. But it's the same principle on all of them. When that battery level drops below a certain point and stays there, that's when you get the fail. If it drops below and then recovers, then it will keep giving you the battery warning. Okay, so that's why we use them. So copper tops. I see so many people spend an awful lot of money on bite alarms and buy the worst batteries you can possibly buy. That's like buying a Ferrari and then going Asda for your petrol. It doesn't make any sense. You want the best performance. It's for the sake of a few quid more on a battery, you're just going to get so much more. I know we don't use, the battery life on these is huge, but with a decent battery, it's even greater, especially on a receiver. You're going to get huge amounts of battery life. Okay. Right. What else? Let me just switch back again. Mute. Okay, I think mute is pretty self-explanatory. Why have we got mute? Let's put that back into daytime. There we go. Why have we got mute? So that when you're setting up and you're tapping away, then it doesn't annoy anybody, and it gives you a little warning that it's on mute as well. The LED will flicker. Obviously, the reason behind that, you don't want to sit there with it in mute if you're using the speaker, in case you miss a run. There you go. It gives you a little flash, and that times out after, and I forgot now, 15 minutes, I think. Ooh, sorry, forgot that off the top of my head when it times out for you. You press the button, it'll deactivate it. But I think it's 10 to 15 minutes it will keep going for. So then, and then it will time out itself. but it's there warning you that it's still on. The other question is, why does it not mute through the receiver? Well, if it muted through the receiver when somebody pressed mute, they'd just have your stuff away in an instant, so they could mute the signal so it didn't pick up on the receiver. So yeah, while it'll mute locally, it'll still go off through your receiver, or else there is a massive security risk there. Okay, so that's the thinking behind that one. What else? Trying to think now. Anti-theft. Well, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Anti-theft. Obviously, we turn it off. The reason that it's a 2-button press is to try and reduce the ability to knock it on in your bag. Though it doesn't really happen. The cases are quite strong anyway, because we've only got 1 button on the EV-D. But that was the thought process behind that in some way. What was the thinking behind why is mute and why stealth you have to go into setup mode? Because there's something you would do once. You're either going to like stealth mode and you're going to set your tone. You can come back to me. You're going to either you like or you don't like stealth mode, and you set your tone once at the beginning. You're very rarely going to sit there on the bank and change your tones. You're just going to have your set up and have your tone set as they should be. So that's the thinking behind that one. And then the other functions are all on the fly. So what we call on the fly. So active settings that you can change while you're fishing. So I'm going to change. Remember, that's in stealth mode. I'm going to change my LED from day to night. So that's in day, and I can put mute on. Okay, and turn it off. And I might fancy changing the beat speed while I'm fishing. But again, beat speed is one of them things. Once you've found your magic number, you're not necessarily going to be playing with it very often. Even if conditions change, it's the response. This control here that is going to govern false bleeps. So that's the one you're going to change. I'm pointing at this one on my fat fingers. The beep speed. It remembers your beep speed once you've set it to how you like it. And then that's very likely you're not going to change it. But it is a frontline control, as we say. You can change it, and there are 8 speeds. So as I hold the button down, it scales through the 8 speeds. Okay. I think he says. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Let me just have a quick flick through and see what people have got to say, if anything. Hopefully that gives you some insight into the thought process. Every function on that product, or everything that we've thought about on that product, has been for a reason, that we feel is a reason. We're trying to make it more reliable, better performing, give anglers be able to use the vibration sensing more by having beat speed and the response control. Having 8 levels of LED brightness, so you can set however you want. All those features are there for something for you that's useful. The IMU as well, the extra the movement detection system, which I did the video on last week, which you guys, a lot of you have watched. Again, increased security. Unfortunately, there's a load of bloody monkeys around who want to steal kit now. So it's that extra level. We were the first to have any form of anti-theft in our alarms, and we've even improved that now. So that's a unique feature of the alarms, to give people even more security. Nothing's foolproof. If they want your car, they'll have your car. You have a mobiliser, bloody crook lock on it, you can have whatever you like. But it's just a deterrent, a bigger deterrent than any other bite alarm has for people to steal it. So that's what we've got on there. Any questions? Let's have a look. What's the main differences between the EV-D and the Txi-D? Okay, Vinny Hawksworth, I will do that. Not today. That's a good question. I will show you specifically. I'll have them side by side, and you'll be able to see then the differences. We'll do that another day. Ian Carroll, is it right you have to match the bobbin colour to the alarm? Yes, and the reason for that is these super bright LEDs. These super bright LEDs, Okay, every LED is driven at a slightly different voltage to match the brightness level. So when they go through the scaling 1 to 8, they're driven at different voltages. So as you know, for safety reasons, so you don't cause any damage, you really should be using the same color LED that the alarm is. You know, same color bobbin as the alarm, so that you're not overdriving an LED and maybe causing a problem, maybe blowing it up. If you put too much voltage through something, then it might damage it. That's the reason for that. What we got? Making sense so far. Thank you, Nick. What's a little hole in the front of the... Yes, okay. I will do that. So, who said that? Aaron Jones. Let me flick back to this one. These are things that even I'd forgotten. And you can see, if I pull back a little bit, and you can see on both. So, both alarms have a little hole underneath there. Okay, that is part of the speaker cavity. So if any water gets in there, it has the ability to go out. The speaker's completely sealed in there, so it's not going to go into the alarm, but that allows anything that comes down. So if it trickles down the front in there, it can come out. And it's the same with this little bit here. So if water comes in through the sensor, it comes out through this little slot here, down there, out that little slot. That's the reason. Just a little the flow of water to let it continue. So that's a good question. Thanks, Aaron Jones. Right, what else? Let me just see a couple more before we go. I think that's it. I bought a set on release. Love them. Best on the market. Kenny Willwood. Well, thank you very much, Kenny. I think we'll probably end on that note. Hopefully that has covered some of those. I can go through the RxD as well at some point, the thought process on those extra features on there, and we will do a difference between the EVD and the TXID. Okay, we will do that, but I think that's about it for today. I think I'm going to have a little break for bank holiday. I know everybody's on holiday at the moment, but I'm going to have a little break. Probably not going to do tomorrow night. I'm sorry guys if that feels the way, but I have a little girl, and this straight after dinner sometimes is a little bit more difficult. But I will still keep answering those questions, so please do keep putting the content. I do appreciate you coming and watching these. They will be up on our YouTube channel, and I will come back to you, and I will come back to you on Monday. So I'm going to have tomorrow off. I know, we've all got it off. But I'm going to work on some more content. I'm waiting for a webcam, and that's what I'm waiting for. And when I've got that, I can do something a little bit more effective, hopefully. So thank you for your time. I hope it's been of some benefit. I hope you're learning stuff and seeing how we think. Maybe sometimes different to how you think, but hey, that's life. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your long weekend. I will be back with you on Monday at 6:30. Cheers for now. Take care. Happy Easter.